What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to another draft day episode of Fantasy Bench Warmers. I'm your host JJT with Commish Eric. We took
Yeah.
a few days break from drafting. But let me just share my screen. How are you, Commish?
I'm fine, but I have to mention to you that someone said that there was a trade for the pick. Can
What?
you check? I'm not sure. Someone mentioned that he's the first pick.
No, I don't. But Joe, no. That's I
This
think
is it.
it's just
Okay. Just to be clear, because we don't want the same thing to happen again from last
yeah.
week.
Yeah, from that, not last week, but a couple of drafts ago. Uh,
Yes. No, no, last week. That was last week. Last Saturday.
oh
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
last
yeah. That
Saturday.
was last week.
Last Saturday.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was last week. Uh, but I haven't really heard from Joao, who's the first pick, that he is trading his pick, and I doubt that he's gonna trade his pick. Lioj is where I think he's what. I'm not sure if where he is. I think he's third. Uh, anyway, NBA has started today. There's a preseason game. As I think it's just finished, right? I think just ended. The Golden State
Yeah.
Warriors and the Washington Wizards played. What do you take out of that game?
Yeah, I did. I wrote,
Nothing or
well, not much.
something?
I wrote a little short, very short observations. Of course, the big one is James Wiseman. He had 23 minutes, I think, 20 points, 8 out of 11 shooting. So that's the biggest. I think that's the only thing that you can really get out of it. I mean, he looks good. I'm not saying he's now going to play a lot of minutes for Golden State, but the thing we can get out of it is he's healthy, he's fit, he looks in shape. So there. I think that's the biggest takeaway from that basically commercial useless Japanese
Well,
preseason game.
that's the um probably that's the only thing that could somehow impact any player's value, right? I mean, Wiseman is the one that's not really at this point. Not many leagues have been drafting him in 14 teams, right?
Um, there
Maybe the
are,
last pick.
yeah, there are managers. I've seen it, but not a lot.
Yeah,
That's
not
not
a lot.
mainstream,
But
but it's not.
after today,
Yeah, definitely.
he'll probably get there. I wouldn't be surprised if someone picks him like the 12th round or the 13th round or the 12th or 11th round, right? Or even, just to get a flyer, just to try to uh, see if he can do this in the regular season. Other than that, I mean, the guys didn't play as much. Rui, who's not also who's been really not being drafted as well, right? Uh, was the guy that top scored for Washington. I don't think you're gonna, you know,
Um, I'm not even sure if he's a starter. I think they started him because the game is in Tokyo. Is it Tokyo? I think Tokyo.
yeah.
So I think they had to start him and play him a lot of minutes. But what is sure is that the four other players there are the starters, which is Kuzma, um, who else? Kristaps, Beal, and Monte
Monte,
Morris.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be Barton, as we said. It could be Rui. It could be Denny. Denny's injured, by the way. There's some injury groin problem with Denny. That's why he was out today. So if he gets healthy, he might be the starter. So we didn't get clarity there, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
there.
So just be careful. I mean, some people might see this. Oh, do we play 13 points,
Uh,
25 minutes? He might get drafted in some leagues, even the 14 team leagues. But there are other things that happen. I mean, not really on the court, but on media day. Jay Crowder fallout. I talked about that in the last draft, and immediately, of course, Cam Johnson's value skyrocketed, or at least moved up a few rounds, right? From being what usually the second to the last pick to maybe your 10th round or ninth round pick.
Yeah. Before this trade, I have picked him in the 120s. So
Yeah.
I think that's in 12 team leagues, that's 10th round. In 14 team league, that's probably 8th round, something, or 9th round, something like that. Maybe he gets gets a little higher. He was top 100 last year before he got injured. So yeah, Cam Johnson suddenly looks good with this news with Crowder. But remember, if Crowder gets traded, they'll get a power forward in return. A forward, for sure. They'll be trying to get a forward also. So to help them. So you have to wait for that also.
So don't be too eager to get to get uh get Cam Johnson. Anyway, we'll talk about some of the guys who could be drafted tonight as we, in passing. But any strategies for today? We are the 13th pick. I'm sure we're used to that that
Not
that
much
position.
strategy wise. I've stopped thinking too far ahead. I think I'll be going with whoever is left with the players I want. I have, as we said in our first round tiers, we were up to 13, right? We can
Yeah.
revisit that. Jokic number one, Embiid, Giannis, KD, and Harden, Luka. I think they're the next tier there. After that, the Curry, Tatum, Trey. That's the next, and Lamelo. That's the next tier, and then of course Halliburton also. Before,
Halliburton actually has been moving up uh
yeah,
higher. I mean, within the top 10. He started off second round, early second round. Then he's moved up into that first round tier. And then moved up to maybe the 11th, 12th. And then
there
now
was,
teams are drafting him like 6th, 8th,
yeah.
7th. So he's really moved up.
There's an article that came out in NBC Sports Edge, I think, about him. About I think Zach Hanshu was the guy who wrote it. It's a very long article about why he's going to be a top 5 player this year, and pretty compelling arguments. What he did last year was done only by few players before when he was in Indiana. I mean Indiana, and they're trying to extrapolate it to the whole season, which is possible because he's going to be the main player there. So yeah, that's why he's really climbing up. I think he's ranked 8 right now. ADP still not there, 16, but could go start to go up. Embiid fell to 7. Huh? It's surprising.
Uh, well, at least no Halliburton yet in this group, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think one player that has somehow moved lower is Trey. Trey has been moving a little lower, um, but or even Cat has moved, a little
Well,
lower.
there was a discussion about Kat in our FB page about Anthony Davis. When I posted about Anthony Davis, it turned into a Kat conversation. And yeah, I agreed with most of the people saying that Kat is really more of a second rounder in 12 team leagues. In 14 team leagues, I would actually agree that he should be a little lower, or probably 12, 13, maybe at those range. At those
Yeah.
range. Yeah,
So
Lamelo goes 8.
Lamelo or Halliburton? I think I asked you this one time because I had this dilemma earlier in the other day in my one of my drafts the other day. I think 10th and both were available. So I was thinking if I'd go Lamelo or Halliburton at that point. Who do you like
I
better? I know you like Halliburton, but
you know who I like. You know who I like. I'm a big Halliburton fan, so I probably gonna go with Halliburton a little bit, but I like Lamelo also this year. I just like the cleanness of Halliburton's stat set. I mean, he really doesn't have much weaknesses, right?
Mm.
Uh I know the
Maybe the
efficiency
turnovers, I think.
there.
If
He went
there's one.
11.
If there's one, maybe the turnovers.
Well, Hallie overall
I,
for turnovers,
not
not
as
as
bad.
high, not as
Yeah, not
bad.
as
Yeah.
bad.
So it went according to plan. I guess Lillard is the guy that fell to us. Not
Yeah,
surprising.
this is really the toughest, I guess. I just had a 16 team draft, I think, the other night. And I was thinking, being 15th and 16th is not really the best position there in the drafts, right? Because but after these 14 players, there's somewhat of a drop off in terms of the
No,
level.
but, well, the 13, right? This is 13. It
Yeah,
went
13.
according to nobody picked LeBron or Ja or
Yeah, yeah.
AD. Usually, if there's anybody that would jump over these guys, it's LeBron, number one. It's AD, number two. Sometimes Ja Morant, because there will be fanboys there who would want him. Very rarely Kyrie and Booker, but these are the guys. Booker went 14, so he's probably not a LeBron fan.
Yeah, but if you are in a deeper league, right? 16 team, like I said, if you're the 15th pick, it's kind of like the choices are, you know, uh, tough, tougher there. When you're
Yeah,
15, 16, like you'll probably, yeah, you're right. You'll probably end up with Booker. So
AD
it's,
Booker. Okay, so I'm not picking Kyrie. I'm
are
not
you
there.
picking LeBron?
No, I'm not picking LeBron. Well, yeah, LeBron could be a good pick here. Paul George, DeJounte, I think they're also good picks. But LeBron is okay. I think he's solid. Could be LeBron, could be DeJounte. Those are the two guys I'm looking at. Paul George.
In our
Oh,
FBW teams, I think we already have what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, three Dame Lillard players.
yeah. Should I go LeBron? I haven't had LeBron. Let's try him. Just make it different. In a
How
way, in a way, it could be two first rounders, right? If LeBron stays healthy.
well, that's the biggest question. Although Anthony Davis looks, well, at least every start of the season he looks good anyway. So
Yeah.
this one, I've always seen this. I've seen this a lot. Anthony Edwards going first before some of the usual second rounders. He's been moving up the ranks. Uh, um, do you think he is worth that? What's this? 18th pick.
That he can hit that 18th position, but picking him that early removes all the value from that pick. I won't pick him that early. I think, especially with Paul George there, you know, DeJounte, Bam. I would like those guys over him, but I would not go that low anymore from 18. Probably mid 20s or
Mhm.
22, 23. I think he can be picked already.
Yeah. Uh,
You, you asked me about whether he can overtake Cat in Minnesota, and I
yeah.
think he can. He has the he has the
I
personality.
mean,
He
not
has
not the basketball sense, but fantasy wise.
fantasy wise. I think he still can. I think he still can.
Because I think that's the only hurdle for him, right? I mean, Cat is still the quote unquote top dog there, and he's always been picked. I'm talking about fantasy wise. I think as the basketball sense, I think Anthony Edwards has already shown that he can be the top dog in Minnesota, right? I mean, during the playoffs, he kind of did that. or the play-in, or did they make the playoffs? They made the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Uh, he kind of showed that he can be, and Carl Anthony Towns was pretty bad during the playoffs. So, um, but fantasy wise,
Where is he? Let me
overtake.
see. Anthony Edwards is ADP is 22. So he's ranked 11th. I don't know what rank this is, but expert rank is around 19. So I think he's just around that area. Carl Anthony Towns, I think if there's a chance Edwards overtakes him even in fantasy because Edwards will not be as affected with Gobert than Towns would be.
Yeah,
So that's gonna be a big uh it's gonna be big for Towns value. And remember, there's still another tier to go for Anthony Edwards. Whereas for Towns, I think we've seen where he is, what he is,
he has
any
plateaued,
holidays.
and in
Yes,
some
plateaued
in
maybe.
some in some if you look at it as well, he has somehow declined a bit. I
Um,
hate to say the word decline because he's just what, 26, 27. He's a young player, right?
I I don't think decline in a sense that is aging. Maybe decline because of
The production,
certain
fantasy wise, he has declined
yeah
from
yeah
the top
certain
five,
certain
top
situations.
three.
Maybe the better team also.
Yeah,
So that has helped him also. So that has made him not have to do a lot fantasy wise. So maybe that's the reason why he's a little in the decline. Whereas Anthony Edwards going to the third season, sky's the limit, right? He could shoot more, score more,
yeah,
maybe steal the ball more if he starts to really improve defensively. That's the next step. Improving defensively. He has that swag uh, aura that
yeah. He has that
although
confidence.
it doesn't help that he made some statements about you know bad statements that he was fined. I hope that doesn't affect him or anything.
Or affect him, being suspended. Is he
Yeah,
gonna be suspended for that?
no, he was fined, but he was not
Okay.
suspended. Yeah.
Um. So yeah, so far nothing surprising. Aiton being picked here has been, this is probably the highest that he has been picked in the drafts that I've seen.
Well, Allen is also high. He's now he's drafted 32nd. Again, this is the effect of Robert Williams' injury. I think people are really um, going to try to find
Now this is
big.
going to be a challenge now for those managers who have been picking guards early on. Because if centers are going this fast, this high, they'll eventually end up with not much options later on.
Yeah, the run on bigs in this part of the draft got a little harder. Got
Yeah,
squeezed with the injury to Robert Williams. Of course, we already lost JJJ. So there, Terry Rozier, 33rd. I love Terry Rozier, you know that, but he's going really high. It's going way higher. It was 50s. He was 50s. At 50s, he's gonna be a steal, but at 30s, it's too early. Too early in my opinion. Over DeMar DeRozan, over Donovan Mitchell, over Chris Paul.
who's
That's too
dropping at
early.
this point? Who's dropping from the list? Because I don't want to put it in the players, since you have the
Um,
your screen is open as well. Maybe you can do it.
Donovan is one from ADP of 23, rank 23, still available. Chris Paul, of course. Well, Bradley Beal still there. Not necessarily dropping, but he's still there. So Kawhi, Kawhi looked good today. There, Donovan got picked, but there, he dropped to 35. That's one full round
Yeah,
from where he usually gets picked.
which is a good, not bad, you know, uh, position already.
Yeah, probably gonna go Kristaps if he's available. Just gonna say it. I'm gonna go early with Kristaps. Not early. 41 is right. And
Just
then
okay, just okay.
yeah, if somehow Chris Paul is still there, I'm gonna pick him happily. Yeah. Well, he's a top remaining player, so I think he's gonna be picked before me. I don't trust that Rosenbauer will pass on Kristaps, so I have to pick him first.
Now this he may pass on Kristaps because he has Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Mobley. Okay.
But if you look at it, I think we have kind of a not common combinations here compared to the past drafts that we've had. Like we haven't really seen much of a Lamelo, Paul George, Kawhi combination, or
Yeah,
right, or a Embiid, Sabonis, Mitchell combination, right? So it's something new as well. Uh, the James Harden Cade
I
is
have that.
kind of
That's my combo.
common, yeah, right. I also have that. And but the Jarrett Allen pick, like you said, it's a little too high. So let's see how that pans out. Yanis Darius Garland combination, very rare that happens.
Giannis, Darius Garland. Yeah, that's rare.
Very rare.
Quite rare. That's
So
quite
we'll
rare.
see. And Joel has Jokic, Van Fleet, and Ja Morant. Actually,
That
Ja Morant has
works.
dropped here.
Scotty Barnes, 39.
Too high, right?
I find it a little high. I find it a little high. Again,
Even Mobley, I think Mobley what at 37?
yeah. If Chris Paul's available here, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna just hope that he doesn't go Miles Turner, Chris Knapp's back to back. Well, there you go. Makes it easier for me. Because if Chris Paul was there, it's too much already. 41. 40, you got Chris Paul at 40. That's insane value. And right now, I could pick Miles. I could pick Kristaps. I'm just gonna go Kristaps because, of course, as I said, I want to own as many different players as I can. I feel like they're similar players. Kristaps shoots better. Um, poor field goal, but yeah, he looked good today. Hopefully, he's gonna stay healthy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
here. So Kristaps, Commish gets Kristaps. So this is also a common build, the Trey Young, Kyrie, and Chris Paul build.
Ah, got Drew. It's tough. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go to the Aaron Fox. Uh I was quite sure it's not gonna go Drew, and he went Drew. So okay, um, it just go Zach. He's healthy.
That was fast. That was a fast pick for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go with Jalen Brown, and not really somebody I'm targeting.
I think Zach Sengun at 46 really high.
Sengun. Oh, Sengun was picked quite early.
Again, the centers. This is where the centers are usually picked, third and fourth round. So interesting strategy here for Dora. He has Trey, Kyrie, the Aaron Fox, and Chris Paul. Four guard uh, pick so far. Levine, I feel at 46, good value there. I think I
Yeah,
just feel like,
44.
I
44.
mean, what, a couple of years ago or even last year, he was being picked within the second round. He just fell
Well,
off just because of the injuries.
well, the injuries scare me. My team is very scary, actually. I could easily go um, with Lillard, Levine, LeBron, Kristaps. Look at that combination. I could go zero easily and be the last place of this league. But the value that I got in Levine, I think, is worth it. He said he just got, I think, arthroscopic knee
He,
surgery. He feels healthy, so I'm gonna trust that this year he'll stay healthy, right?
So
That's
again,
my
some
hope.
interesting combos here for some of these teams. Bane though is another player that I feel at the late 40s to the early 50s could be a good value.
Bane is someone climbing depth charts, and I've seen different opinions on Bane. Some feel like he's a bust at that position. I don't feel that way. I think he I think he's solid. But Zion at 48 I like also.
Hmm.
I like
Yeah,
Zion more
since
than
Zion's there,
Mhm.
we have to talk about the physique of Zion. I think
Yeah.
uh, he has redeemed himself from all those memes that he got when he was injured. Looks really good. I mean,
Looks good. And reports are that he dominated scrimmages. Their scrimmages has been dominating. Remember, for New Orleans, Jonas Valanciunas is a little beaten down by the what do you call that?
Euro qualifiers.
Eurobasket, the qualifiers and the actual Eurobasket. So I could easily see Zion dominating their practice. Nobody else can really match up with him athletically, size wise. He 40, he was what, 48? At
Yeah,
48, really, if I got Giannis, I've never had Giannis yet, but if I have Giannis, I'll be aggressively targeting Zion also. Maybe even as early as the third round. I don't know uh who got
Yan
Giannis here. Let me see.
Amari.
Yeah.
Well, the
Uh
position he is in would not allow him to get Zion at this point.
yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
if he
true.
got him at that 30, is that the 30th pick, right? That might be a
Could
little too
be
high.
could
Or
be
that might
risky
be
high.
just okay.
Yeah, but could be risky high. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. It's hard to get Zion. It's hard to get Zion if you got Yannis second pick because you have to pick him there at the 30 spot. Unless you're in a 12 teamer. Maybe it goes back to you in round 4 because it's a 12 team. So yeah, but I would that's a pairing that would be you
Now,
will definitely win field goal with that with that pairing.
now Bronson 54 is higher than his usual ADP, but I think he should be solid there.
Bronson at 54 is too high, man. I don't know why people are so high on Bronson this year. I I I I get it. I mean, he's in New
Well,
York.
he's gonna be at the top point guard there.
Everybody says that. Everybody says he's gonna be without Luca. He's gonna be. Yeah, I get it. I get that. But 50 plus is too high.
50 plus
50
is
plus
too
is
high.
too high. Too high. I would get him at 70s at from the 70s onward to 80s. That's okay.
Yeah,
But anything higher than that, he's not gonna be a top 50 guy all of a sudden because he's gonna steal the ball. He's gonna, do things that he never did with or without Luca, right?
yeah.
That's insane. That's just too high. It's
Now,
too high.
here's a question. So, in the past drafts, I've had some challenges when it comes to the centers, right? Because we end up usually on the last few picks, and if you notice, the last few picks, players would be available during your turn would be mostly the guards, right? Um, unless you try to reach for centers. Now, how do you balance getting someone in the position, getting someone just because you need to fill a position versus someone who you feel has value already at that range, like
That's
someone who
tough.
dropped?
That's tough. That's really tough. Doing drafts, it's hard. But I think one thing you have to consider is your league a league that you can easily trade? Do you know the managers there? How comfortable are you with them? Because if you pick players without, just get value, just get the best available, you have to fix it somehow, right? I mean, you just have to do some maneuverings. And if you cannot dispose of not dispose. I mean, turn those valuable players into other valuable players that fit you better, you might end up with the team that will not win also.
Yeah.
So that's very important. For
I
me,
think that's a dilemma, a lot of managers would also face.
yeah,
Especially like this guy. Let's take, for example, Dora. He picked four straight cards. Now, usually in his range, players like Wendell Carter would still be available, but players now reaching for these types of centers, right? This is high for Wendell Carter. 60. That's
I did that. I did straight four straight guards. I got Harden, Cade, CP3. I got Rozier in our draft, and I did that because I had a plan. I was gonna go with. I knew the players who would come back to me, which you just mentioned. Who did you mention?
yeah,
Wendell
Wendell.
Carter, Nurkic, Potel. Those were the players I know bigs that would come back to me, and I was comfortable with them, and even Al Horford. So I was comfortable with them, so I was not worried. No. Of course, it could backfire because all of those could be picked when it's my turn, but that didn't happen. I was able to get Potel and Wendell Carter to help my big man stats. So that helps already because you know, Harden has rebounds also. Cade
Yeah.
also rebounds well. So, you don't really have to you can get the big man stats in small players.
No,
You just have to
actually, there are, if you look at later on in the draft, like, the 90s or the hundreds, maybe, there are some values there that might give you rebounds. Uh, Vanderbilt's there, right? There are still other players. I mean, players who can help you in that department. Uh, uh,
yes. And I'm just gonna say this. If you go if somehow the value players are falling to you are all bigs or all small guys, you have to automatically change gear. Okay? Punt. You have to punt. That's just how it is. This is head to head. So even if you go four or five small guys, you just have to consider what are the categories that I'm building right
yeah,
now. Not look at the fact that you don't have a center. If it's another thing, you have to look at if it's a one center or two center league, right? You still have to fill that. So so those are the considerations. But for me, punt right away. If
yeah,
you punt, if you punt because you have four or five guard wings or whatever, you won't be as scared anymore. You just get one center like maybe Wendell or Ford later on to fill up a center position. And then there's PJ Washington, there's Brandon Clark. There are
yeah.
centers, there are
There are.
players who are not centers but has center eligibility.
I think
So
that's one thing that you have to look into. Where the centers are falling, who are the next tier centers? Would they be better for you? Or, I mean, another thing that you might consider is which rounds or tier where certain categories are plentier than the other tiers, right? Like scoring is hard to get. if you
yeah,
didn't if you didn't get scoring in the first 3-4 rounds, you probably gonna end up punting scoring because there's not much scorers after that.
that's true. That's true.
Assist is another category that's going to be hard to get later on, although there are a few value players there like Trey Jones, Jamal hasn't been picked yet, right? He's in the 70s, usually 60s. um,
That's positional scarcity. That's scarcity of certain stats and also
yeah,
some positional scarcity, which has always been the case. Year after year, there are different stats that are harder to find, and assist has always been one of them. If you didn't
yeah.
get your assist early on, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to get them later. So there. Hmm.
Lots of surprising picks, I guess, so far. I mean, I felt like the Wendell Carter was too early. Even Valanciunas is a little too early. Falling to what? Shea falling to 63rd already. The
Shea
old
went to went 63rd. Yeah, it's tough right now. This is tough. I wanted Nurkic or Horford, so one of the two. I think not that prepared right now, or Maxi.
Yeah, you didn't have anyone in your queue.
No, I didn't queue. I'm doing so many things, but I have players. It's easier to choose right now. Maybe I'll go Maxi first, and then I'll go with another big later on. There are bigs there. I can leave me with Nurkic or Horford. I'll be happy. If he gets both, then okay, fine.
You
I
can
doubt
put
he goes.
guys on your queue. I don't want to disturb your draft. We
No, it's
want to
okay.
we want to win some of these leagues.
Well, we're fine.
Wagner's dropped off a bit here. Uh,
Yeah. What's hard with Wagner is, I
the
guess,
depth in
the
Orlando. I
spot.
mean, not really the depth, but there are players there that can produce fantasy value, and he might, at this point, we're not sure how he does. But who are the scorers there? He's probably they're going to be their best scorer.
Uh, yeah, he's gonna score. He's gonna score. I think he's gonna score better with. He's gonna score more than last season. But Banquero is there already. They have Cole also will probably score, but not a lot. But the problem is his stats. There are a lot of similar players in this range:
Yeah.
MPJ, Tobias, Keldon. So that
Actually,
makes it tougher.
this fifth round, sixth round, seventh round, there's going to be a lot of small forwards, power forwards. So if you're talking about positional drafting based on the positions, this is where you pick some of your small forwards, some of your power forwards.
I, my team is good. It's just that I'm scared about all the injury
I
risks.
was just about to say the team is good, but they could also end up being a
Yes,
bunch of
whatever.
IL players.
I I don't know. I just went for it.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see how this goes. Lots of managers also reaching for certain players early. So
Well, Draymond 74. That's relatively high already. We've seen so many drafts that Draymond has fallen really far, right?
yeah,
So
it's draft season already when you have uh simultaneous drafts going on, right? Commission and I are
yes.
having a slow draft in one of our older leagues, and then there's a slow draft as well with the Locked On Fantasy Bowl that I'm in, and now
Now
we're gonna
Mitchell
be.
Robinson. Just like to talk about Mitchell a little bit. I mean, he's going right now. He went ahead of Nurkic. He went ahead of Capella. He went ahead of PJ Washington and Brandon Clark. I won't take him ahead of all those guys. I won't even take him ahead of MPJ. We're talking about injury risk. So why Mitchell Robinson and not MPJ? If you're talking about that he's gonna block,
Well,
he can block.
okay,
Well,
so let's talk about Capella. Capella is an injury risk type of player. Who else are there? Maybe PJ is the best bet there.
yeah, Capella's injury risk, but not the same injury risk as that guy, as Mitchell Robinson. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's
Well,
always hurt.
I would have picked Nurkic first.
Uh, Over Mitchell.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
pick Nurkic
Mitchell.
first over Mitchell.
You won't pick Nurkic first.
I would pick Nurkic
Yeah,
first over Mitchell Robinson. I
but
mean,
this
Mitchell Robinson is
this
not even in my top 100 right now.
but
I
yeah,
don't see
and 75 is high already for Mitchell, like you said.
Yeah. And then
Julius Randle at 77.
And that's just right. I think he should be in the as I said this a lot of times. He should be in the 80 range. So 77 is plus minus just somewhere there, so it's okay. In the right build, he's still gonna get 20 plus points, still gonna get, rebounds, still get some assists even if Brunson is there, but he's not gonna shoot well. He's gonna get turnovers for a big guy. He doesn't block. He doesn't really get defensive stats. So you know what? That's still gonna be the case. So that's why I have him at the 70s or 80s. The way he can move back to the top 50s if he's goes crazy again, goes 30, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and then shoots so well that he hits 3-pointers left and right.
Yeah.
That's the only the only way.
Yeah, but at least at 77, your risk becomes smaller here.
This draft is weirder. We see MPJ being
Droppings.
drafted, dropping. He's still there. And then we see Hero picked
No, but
already, Sadiq Bey picked already.
that's not rare. I mean, I picked
Well,
MPJ at the hundreds.
that's surprising. Andrew Wiggins
Jamal actually at
ahead.
84, he's already a drop. I mean,
Yeah.
he's being picked at the 70s. So I think Joel got a very nice deal here.
Well, Joao knows his stuff. Joao knows the values. I'm sure he's doing 20 mock drafts an hour.
he
He's motivated to beat us. We know that. So he's
he
really
just
preparing for
messaged
the
he
FBW.
just messaged me a while ago that his son is sick right now, and he's taking care of his kid, and he's teaching him how to do mock drafts already. So that shows how many mock drafts has he been doing already at this point.
Doing a lot. Sure, he's doing a
Robert
lot.
Williams, 86.
Yeah, that's good.
Is
I'll
that
say this.
worth the risk?
I'm really not sure. I won't say I know what to do. But if I'll just say it this way, if you pick him at the 86 spot, I won't be, against that. I won't find it ludicrous or anything. But if you pick him at the 100 something spot, I won't find that surprising also, because the injury is a knee injury, and it's the second surgery he has had on that knee. And
Mhm.
he needs to be, his athleticism is what his strength is. I know how good a fantasy player he is, but is the athleticism going to be there right away this season, or will he take longer to get back into his old self? That's a big question.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that you don't even know when he's going to return. That's another problem. So
In one of the drafts I got Robert Williams at 108, and just
yeah,
couldn't pass up on him. At least the risk is a little lower, but
that makes
still.
sense already. That makes sense. If it's outside the 100 mark, I think yeah, go ahead. But for sure I'm gonna pick him ahead of Jaren Jackson, for instance. I'm gonna pick him ahead of him. So it's just because he's so good. I love Robert Williams, but when I said this, when I saw him in the playoffs, I already told myself mentally, I'm not gonna pick any Robert Williams next year. Not one. Not one. I don't want the risk. He was
Yeah.
dragging himself, so you don't
Yeah.
know how much damage that there was there in that knee.
But it was the finals, and they probably would not get back there anytime soon. So
If
might as
if
well.
if they won, then it could have been worth it. Losing in the finals means nothing. So they should have won. They should have won to make it worthwhile for him.
Ben Simmons, 91st.
That's a steal. I don't know who's teamed, what kind of team he's building, but if it's a punt free throw team, Ben
It's
Simmons
not. It's
91.
actually a weird lineup too. Embiid's a bonus. Mitchell, I don't think he's gonna punt free throws here.
No, he's gonna punt. Sabonis basically a punt free throw already.
But the other guys, he soft punt, not really a punt. But I
Maybe a
mean,
soft
look at
punt.
the other guys. Embiid, Donovan, these are good free throw shooters. So I don't think he's punting here.
There are some players that are dropping like crazy. KPJ available at the 90s is very rare. He's always been going high. Well, at least in my drafts.
Well, because some
Also,
players have moved up. Trey Jones, 90 plus. I would have liked him at the hundreds. If you remember, the one of the first drafts that we had, we got him at 103, 104. Now
Trey
he's moving up.
Jones. Trey Jones. I know you love Trey Jones. I not as much, but he could be somebody. Man, MPJ goes 2 spots ahead of me. I was hoping for that. I'm gonna get the bias now. I don't care. Although I have Maxi, then the bias gets picked.
It's like Dora
Oh.
has been listening to uh, what we have been saying.
Yeah, but the 96 for Tobias and 94th for MPJ is crazy value. That's very good. Very good value. Ay. Um, the players I'm seeing here is like Simons, but I have Lillard also. So
But isn't that a good handcuff thing?
maybe
But I don't like Simons though. The fantasy game of Simons, I just don't like.
the fantasy games of Simon, yes, I'm not as really high on that, but
He's just a scorer, basically.
yes, but at this point,
Would
I
you
think he's
rather, you know, would you rather have him or, let's see, who's Keegan Murray, for example, who's probably is a scorer as well.
um I would love Keegan Murray. I would love Keegan Murray. Simons, I just prefer him maybe to the other guards here because he's got more upside. But I'm looking at KPJ right now. He's very, very intriguing, especially since I need a guard. So Simons, I know you don't like him. KPJ, you're not much of a fan, but at this point, 100, I think both of them are good already, good value. I don't see Melton, being this high. I mean, I love Melton, but he's still off the bench, right?
Yeah, no,
So
yeah. Melton
too
should
high.
be outside the 100. I mean, 110 at
It's
the
a
early.
weird situation for Yahoo putting him that way. Zubac 99, very solid pick. That's a solid pick. So it's between Simons and Porter for me. KKPJ.
No, between those
Uh
two, I would probably go with KPJ. I really don't like Simons too.
yeah,
Fantasy
I'm
game.
also leaning on KPJ. I'm also leaning on KPJ. Let's go KPJ. I like the value there. 100. It's okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Kyle Lowry's another guy that's always been there. Sometimes even outside the 100 mark. I just
Kyle
feel
Lowry.
that's
I
yeah.
just picked him in our slow draft. He's way too low. It's way too low.
So if you're looking for assists, those are the guys to target. I mean, if you missed out on assist early on, it's going to be hard because the only players left for you at this time would be there: Trey Jones, Kyle Lowry, and maybe Jamal Murray. Uh, Other than that, there's really not much. Or Marcus Smart. So those are the guys. But rebounding, there's going to be a lot here in this next few rounds.
Is there
What?
rebounding Vanderbilt maybe?
Yeah, like I said, these next few rounds, round 8 to probably 10, will be more rebounding options there.
Let me see Joao's team. Van Vliet, Mikal, Ja, OG, Brandon Clark, Jokic, and Murray. Pretty good. Pretty good. Because he had Ja, Jokic, maybe he thought he could take on OG and Mikal's lack of scoring. So
No, I know
so that
Joel. Joel likes the stocks type of things. Stocks, the stocks categories. He likes to win those.
mm,
And he'll probably thinking about winning the steals here.
probably the steals. His blocks is kind of low. So his steals is very strong.
Yeah.
Of course, he's very strong with assists with Jokic. Jokic, Ja, Van Vliet, that's is strong with the assists. Turnovers, he's gonna be weak there. Blocks is gonna be weak there. And he's not as good as a manager as we are, so he's probably gonna lose there also. And
Trash talk has begun. This is going to be a very interesting group because there's another guy, Leo, who knows Joel.
what's his
So
team?
the
What's
trash
his
talk.
team?
I think Brown Mamba is Leo's team,
Okay, Brown Mamba, Luka,
if I'm not
Bronson,
mistaken.
Giddy, Hill, Vucevic, Aiton. There's a punt blocks group also that is leaning to as also going into a punt field goal situation. So it's field goal and blocks, situation. But yeah, it looks solid if he's got strong 3-pointers, strong assists. Rebounding might need some help. But Joao's team is strong. Joao's team is strong.
What's happening in our slow draft? I haven't really checked. All right, so we are at round 8. There goes Simons. Jabari Smith went before. I mean, not before him, but the guy who picked Simons had Jabari Smith, and I know commish is high on Jabari Smith.
Yeah, I he got it ahead of me also. Right now is Jalen Smith taken?
Yeah,
He was taken already.
yeah. This round 8, he was taken 100
Oh
second.
yeah, 100 seconds. These managers know their stuff. We know that. They know
100
their
second
stuff.
is a good value already there.
Yeah, but he's ranked 137 in Yahoo. So they know. These managers are kind of
Yeah, they know these are
experienced.
experienced managers. I mean, other
They
than
they
I think
they
other than the first draft that we had, wherein it was
Mhm.
wild, and maybe it was also because it was way too early in the draft season. But having said that, the managers we have competing are really good. I mean, most of the leagues are platinum leagues. In our fantasy bench warmers league. So these are really competitive managers. They know their stuff. They
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 know their
they're
stuff.
they're competitive until maybe injuries hit them, which is really kind of frustrating. Which is probably going to be frustrating for any manager.
Vanderbilt going. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Westbrook 111. I'm always
Okay,
interested to
who
see.
I was wondering who got Harrison Barnes because we've got one follower who said he watched the Sacramento depth chart and said that he's a Harrison Barnes fan. And I know we talked a lot of uh,
Mac.
stuff about
You
Harrison
you
Barnes.
always you always
We
hit on
always
Harrison
slander
Barnes.
Harrison Barnes. So,
Yeah,
and that follower is in this league. So I'll have to check if this is the guy who is a fan of Harrison Barnes.
his team has Barrett, who again is somebody I'm not that high on. Capella, Jalen Green. You don't like him, but I like him.
No, it's not that I don't like him.
It's okay.
Not
I
this
say it
high
for
though, I
what?
guess.
No, again, going back to Westbrook, I always interested to see who. Oh man, as I said, these guys know their stuff.
No,
Joao knows his stuff.
no, come on. I think 113. If you were expecting Cameron Johnson to get to you, I doubt he will, because he's been going sometimes 130s, 40s before the Jay
But
Crowder fallout.
His ADP was still there. So I was thinking maybe it could go back to me at 125. Maybe that's one round ahead. Could possibly happen, but of course, as we said, there's very good managers here.
Yeah,
So it's kind
they
of
know. They
impossible.
know who are the other value players there. Hayward. You want to take more risk. Hayward
He's in
might
my
be
queue.
available.
Yeah, he's in my queue. There are only 4 players in my queue right now. Monte Morris, Caruso, Hayward, and Melton. Right now though, since I got KPJ, probably need some more bigs, some more a little bit more the 3-point scoring maybe. So yeah, more risk.
I think one another player who might be of a good value in these drafts would be Norm Powell. He's not being drafted high, but I just feel like there'll be games wherein Kawhi sits, Paul George sits, and he's gonna get his minutes there. Because I think off the bench
Yeah,
he's still going to be
yeah.
solid.
Um, I have Powell and Cam Johnson went side by side always in drafts before in the early drafts, and
Yeah.
I was alternating between the two of them. Sometimes I got Cam, sometimes I got Norm Powell. So yeah, Norm Powell is being underrated at this range. It's around 120 something to 130 something. Well, people are thinking, of course, that he probably is not a starter, which is possible because during they are already. I think where are they? They're in Israel or somewhere. I think they have a game coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And they already announced the starters. It's Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi, Marcus Morris, and Zubac. So Powell is not starting. They're going big. Although in their practices, it's Marcus Morris in the second team and Powell starting. So maybe people are expecting Powell to be off the bench. That's why he's dropping.
Yeah, but
No.
I think even off the bench, I think he in Toronto he was off the bench, right?
He was off the bench, yes, in
And
Toronto.
he still produced there.
True, true. Coming
And
to my pick, and I think Hayward might indeed fall to me.
no, unless you
And if
want to go with Norm Powell, like we said, but although Hayward's gonna be the starter, so there's that.
ma- I have a team of risks already, it doesn't make any sense anymore to play safe, right? At this point. So if Hayward falls, I might have to take him. Looking at other centers here that's available to help my bigs. Claxton is
Claxton has been falling too.
there. Hayward was picked, so
Early
that's
in
not
the
gonna.
early in the drafts, he's being picked sometimes within the top 100. But lately, I haven't seen him really being drafted that high.
Yes, that's true. Weiss, it's funny. As I told you, James Wiseman's ADP is 131. So people are actually picking him even
Mhm.
before today's game. But I guess it's gonna be
Well, he's
even
gonna
more.
be, yeah, he's probably going to be picked a lot higher. That ADP might move.
Yeah, I lack some bigs, but I don't have much options right now. I don't like to go Robert Covington, especially with the Clippers situation. Claxton's gonna kill my free throws, but
Well,
well,
he is there are two starters there in your queue, and it's Craxton and JaVale,
McGee.
who we already said that he's gonna start, but
Yeah,
Claxton got
Claxton
picked.
was good. This guy, this Dora the Explorer, always listens to us, I think. He knows what we're
Maybe he's
thinking.
yeah, happens a lot.
Hmm. Right now,
Why do you have to go big? I mean,
I think we lack some more help there, like rebounding.
yeah, actually, true. That's another
We
thing that hard to
we lack
get.
rebound.
It sometimes is being overlooked. That rebounding.
Yeah, but there's not much here I like. So I'm gonna go norm first, and then go for a big later. I think that's solid value already, as you said.
Yeah, not. How about Jaden? You want Jaden, but that's Minnesota. He won't give you rebounds.
Yeah. Looking at rebounds, probably McGee is the best there. JaVale, Drummond.
But don't you want to just go Isaiah Jackson? I'd rather have Isaiah Jackson over McKee.
I'm thinking Okongwu.
But he won't
Uh,
give you that many rebounds though. He's not
I
a
think they're just
rebounding kind of guy,
yeah,
but
but
he's
still
close to maybe Isaiah Jackson.
yeah, they're close. Isaiah Jackson and
Safer too,
Okongwu.
safer too. Because Isaiah
Yeah.
Jackson has shown that he can be injury prone in a short
Yes.
stint.
I think McGee JaVale is a little high here, 128. I think that's too high for JaVale. So it's either Isaiah Jackson or Okongwu. And I think uh yeah, you're right. He's safer. So it has upside. So maybe we can pull the trigger on him.
What's the ADP of Okongwu? Because I think
Okongwu ADP. Where's the ADP? Let's see. Where is he going?
let's see the feel good standings. Joao dominating the feel good standings with
Yeah, he's got a strong team.
87.
ADP 119. ADP 119.
Commish is right there, but there's a lot of managers who haven't picked yet. So
Last two picks. So we have. This is the time I will put some. I will put some a lot of cues. I have Baisley, as you can see, one of my new favorites late in the draft. What happened in OKC. I have asked you about Rashawn Holmes. What do you think of Rashawn this year?
wait, he's gonna play behind Sabonis, right?
Sabonis, yes. He's gonna play behind Sabonis, but from someone who's been top, I don't know, what was he? Top 80? Picked top 80
Even
to
higher. I
someone
mean,
who's
he's
totally
what top
undrafted.
40, top 40.
Yeah, to somebody totally undrafted is crazy, right? Especially since he's now healthy and then the domestic issue is already settled.
Yeah, maybe worth a shot. The latter rounds. I mean, no one's gonna pick him anyway.
No one's talking about him. I just put Jonathan Isaac here. Don't judge it. And I'm not saying I'm gonna pick him. Jeremy hates Isaac.
Why'd you remove? Or Suggs got picked. I thought you removed Suggs.
No. I'm just putting anybody here who looks Kelly Olynyk. Yeah.
I don't think Kelly Olynyk plays a lot. I've read somewhere that he could play the mentor role.
Yeah, but playing the mentor role means he could get 20 to 25 minutes. And, maybe even more if Walker Kessler
Actually,
is not.
he's kind of young for a mentor role, right?
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't get him if they didn't get any draft pick there. They just got him. So I think there's a possibility that they really want him.
True.
Right. Now there's another guy here. I forgot to put him in my Facebook post about veterans and sleepers. Mark Williams. People have been picking Mark Williams. Steve Clifford and Quentin Grimes are going back to back. Steve Clifford has said that he's gonna start Mason Plumlee, and then he's gonna have Nick Richards off the bench. So Mark Williams, the guy that we're saying as possible sleeper,
Starter.
looks like he's gonna be in the third team, on the third team. So I suggest not picking him in drafts.
Oh wait,
If you
Nick
want.
Richards is the one starting.
No, Nick Richards is the one off the bench.
Oh, all right, all right.
Mason
The
Plumlee will
one
be
behind,
starting.
yeah, Plumlee.
Yeah. We all know Plumlee will start because Steve Clifford is like Tom Thibodeau. But we're surprised that Nick Richards is ahead of Mark Williams in the pecking order for now.
All right, now Fournier is getting picked.
Yeah.
Just because
Again,
the
he was
news that he's gonna
yeah.
start.
Also, I'm seeing Jordan Clarkson here. The news is they might extend him
Yeah,
instead of trade him. So that might affect Colin Sexton a little bit, right? So
but
there.
they'll probably, I'm not sure if Clarkson still be, stays as the sixth man in Utah. Sexton
Clarkson,
also
yeah.
said he's gonna improve his assist rate, so we'll see.
Yes, Clarkson might stay as a sixth man in Utah. That's possible. I said that also. But still, with having Clarkson off the bench, a guy who's already been part of the team for so long, it's not going to be good for Sexton. Even if it doesn't mean that Sexton will suddenly not have value, Sexton will still, have a big chance to break out. But having Conley and Clarkson all of a sudden within the rotation where people expected both of them to be traded away is is big for the value of Sexton.
Yeah.
There. Joao is really killing it, huh? Jaden McDaniels, a good 140th.
Yeah. I mean, I
Solid.
also like Jaden McDaniels. I have a few Jaden McDaniels just because he's being overlooked, I guess.
I think so. People are probably more wary of the situation that there's Towns and Gobert.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the reason why. But as we said in our depth chart analysis, he could start a small forward. And when Gobert or Towns rests, he could be the power forward. So there should be minutes. But again, there's also Kyle Anderson. There's also Kyle Anderson there. So the uncertainties, if this draft was after 2 or 3 preseason games, there might be more clarity on where Jaden stands in the pecking order. His draft position might go up
Yeah.
way higher.
We're not saying that you should pick Jaden McDaniels early. I think the 130 above range is a good uh, range already for taking that risk.
Yeah. My Q, the highest remaining player here is I think Covington.
Uh, Going back to Jaden, I think last year Jaden was picked way too high. Many expected him to break out.
Yes, 100 something. He was picked 100 something.
And then eventually it was not him, but Vanderbilt who came out. And Vanderbilt was just an afterthought before. Um, so yeah, maybe this is the year of Jaden. Let's see.
Duarte Maturin goes back to back.
So now this is where everyone's trying to get their risk players in.
I think the draft time is 1 minute here, right?
Yeah.
So are we sticking to that? It's okay. I think it's good also.
1 minute is actually the standard.
Okay.
The standard in Yahoo. I mean, the default setting is 1 minute.
There are lots of options here, so I'm not scared. But I do want some more scoring. But there's not much scoring, of course, late in the draft. I
Base
don't like.
Davis can score.
Yeah, but the percentages are not that good, as we all know. So that's a problem. Tyus Jones should not even be ranked 122nd. He's a backup. That picking him is that high is expecting Jamoran to get injured. We know he might, but it's hard to predict that. So that's too high.
Will Barton can score.
Yeah, Barton can score. No upside though. I'm just gonna get. Malik Beasley supposedly looks good.
Werther can
Uh,
score. I just feel like Werther might get some value within the season.
maybe within the season. He should be the starter, I think, over Malik Monk. I'm guessing there. Somebody picked Walker Kessler. I was gonna debate on picking him if still falls to me. Well, Kelly Olynyk can score.
Yeah. You can actually you can take if he's gonna start, and probably Kessler wouldn't be they might ease Kessler slowly. Similar to how what Houston did to Sengun, right? That could
Eh,
happen.
that's the best case scenario for Olynyk owners.
Yeah.
I did pick Olynyk up in one of our FBW leagues. I picked him up because Jamal Murray was still eligible for the IL. Put him there, picked up Olynyk just to see. There, someone picked him. Good, it's not Dora though. Ah,
Grant Williams picked.
nah,
I was looking at
yeah,
another person that I want to ask you about.
Kevin Love.
Royce O'Neal.
Ah,
That situation there in Brooklyn, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neal, and I think there's another guy they're trying to decide who to start. What do you look for in that? Do you think whoever starts there would have some fantasy value?
who's the other guy? Royce O'Neal.
Joe Harris. Let's talk about just Royce O'Neal and Joe Harris.
No, I find it's hard to find value there in that situation. They have Kyrie, KD healthy. Of course, TJ Warren supposedly not yet ready, but Ben Simmons there. Just
Too many
too
question
many,
marks.
yeah, too many question marks. But it's my turn. About to be my turn. I don't have a lot of people queued here, but I really don't have a pick anymore. I don't see any upside picks here. Covington is probably the guy I'm looking.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, there's not much. Well, I could go Beasley.
Beasley still starts, right?
Yeah, he's gonna start. They don't have Holmgren. I think Beasley is a starter. Um, Covington, problem with Covington, is not gonna start. Jalen McDaniels. Okay. Who do you suggest?
If you need scoring, I mean, Beasley's the guy.
Beasley's.
Who are the other options?
Caleb Martin.
He can score though.
Yeah, just put him here in the queue.
He's not a scorer. Oubre,
Yeah, Oubre is a scorer, but
do you really need scoring?
not
If you don't.
not not really. I just want the best player, I guess. I think that's where we go right now.
Yeah, I think those are the guys. Oubre, Kevin Love is still there.
Yeah, our favorite. Yeah, so basically, probably gonna drop him anyway.
In fairness, the players you picked
Yeah.
does not have any of the injury tags.
Hmm. Who else can I pick here?
Do you wanna take your chance on Rishon Holmes?
No. Probably go Gafford first before Holmes.
Actually, Gafford is intriguing. I saw one Twitter post, like, and the person said that they probably won't play Kristaps center the whole time,
Hmm.
right? Because that's gonna take a toll on his body. So I've been
I have
eyeing.
great tops. So
I've been eyeing Gafford as well late in the drafts. And then another guy I've been eyeing as well has been, if you need steals. I'm not sure if he's worth picking up, but I took my chances in some leagues. Jose Alvarado.
Jose Alvarado.
Because there's no who's CJ's backup, right? I think we talked about this,
he's gonna be CJ's backup. He's gonna be CJ's backup.
right? So I think, if you need steals, he's worth a flyer. Or maybe if you're in a 16 team league. Besides, in a 14 team league, the 11th, 12th pick, you'll probably end up dropping them anyway later on.
That's true.
This is the first time I've seen Gary Payton get picked.
That might be a good pick.
Yeah.
Well, surprisingly, James Wiseman did not convince any fantasy manager.
Yeah, he's still there. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be picked. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be picked.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
hard
there are
right now.
any more options there in the pool. He's gonna be picked. I'll be surprised if he doesn't.
Kevin Love. Yeah, there's not much left. Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton's gonna be
No,
good
he's not
early
gonna
in the
be picked.
season.
He's not gonna be picked.
Yeah, but you can pick him up, if you have any injured guys. What's funny is I have an injury-prone team, but I don't have anybody available
Like I
ready.
was saying that. The good
But
thing is your team is fully healthy at this
for
point.
now, for now, yes, so they're fully healthy.
Another player I rarely see get picked is Davion Mitchell.
Quickly also, quickly.
Yeah.
Run more quickly.
Pat Bev, actually, very rare do I see him get picked.
Although we did talk about Pat Bev, we mentioned him as a possible sleeper. So maybe that helped because maybe they
Not
listened to us.
not the sleeper that you maybe
A good pick.
yeah,
A
a
good.
good value pick for as your last pick, right?
I have some other players here. I just want to run them by you. Dante DiVincenzo a while ago in the preseason game. I like his role. Looks like Clay did not play, so Jordan Poole started. So Dante was full-time backup point guard of Steph. And he's one of the only, probably their best backup point guard who can create a little bit, can bring down the ball, can handle the ball. So I think he's gonna have a role for Golden State. So this deep in the draft, maybe Dante is somebody that could be considered. And then I have the two Lakers centers, Damian Jones and Thomas Bryant.
Yeah.
They're still here, and I think Thomas Bryant, if he starts, he can get a lot of open 3-pointers. He can shoot, as we know. So that's other players here.
These are not the big hit sleepers that we're talking about. These are the last pick sleepers. I mean, pick them last, they'll probably give you maybe 2 rounds of value. I mean, they'll probably end up 2 rounds higher after the season.
And then Caleb Martin is still there. We talked about him. Zach Collins.
No, Caleb
Wasn't picked.
Martin would probably not get drafted because there's been some rumors that Miami is trying to get Jay Crowder.
True. But
So
as long as that hasn't happened yet, still viable, right? A Crowder reportedly, Dallas, Cleveland, I think a lot of teams are still after him. So that's not certain, but yeah, it's very possible Crowder comes in and Caleb, suddenly loses value. But maybe at this part of the draft, somebody you can consider already.
But Wiseman, no one's picking Wiseman. Still.
Nobody's picking Wiseman. Yes. Who else?
Jason Tate. Jason Tate, We talked about Eric Gordon. You talked about Eric Gordon and Tyree Eason, right? It
Looks
looks
like
like
they're starting Gordon first and then have Tate off the bench. That looks like the plan.
but Tate's not gonna be a good fantasy option at this point.
No, no. Last year he was picked in the also in the early hundreds. I remember that very well.
He was,
And
one of my picks to, beat that easily, but he was a disappointment last year.
yeah, he disappointed. He disappointed.
Rosenbauer is asking, how did I do? Po?
What's his team? Rosenbauer. He
Rosenbauer,
did
the
well.
one
He
after
did
me.
well. The one after me, he got Booker for a 14th pick. I mean, a solid team. He got a lot of good players. I think he went with a lot of the higher rated ones. Higher rated left. He's got a solid team. Solid team. Problem with him and probably being the 14th pick, of course, there's a big difference between Jokic and Booker, right? Which is not his fault. It's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, you think,
And he's number one in the feel good standings. Can tell him that. Let's tell him that.
yeah. But Joel hasn't picked yet, so,
Yeah.
and he's been solidly, up there. Surprising, no one's picking Wiseman. This is surprising to me, especially after what he did today. I expected him to get picked. No one picked him in this draft.
This is a smart draft. They're not easily uh impressed. I guess you could say that.
But some of the guys that were picked here, I mean, oh there. All right. So I take my word back. Someone picked Wiseman. And Joel went with Lou Dort, another player who is rarely picked.
So Joao wins the projected standings race by a wide margin.
Wide margin. And even after that, Lou get Dort's pick. But these are just feel good standings. These are Roto standings actually. So that doesn't
I'm
really
surprised I finished second. I'm happy with that.
see, like I told you, it's a feel good standings. Like
Yeah, I'm happy with that because I'm also happy seeing my team all healthy for now. I have this feeling that this team would be like my team in the invitationals last year. The team that had SGA, that had Kristaps. I think that team had Conley. That was an injury prone team. It's an injury
yeah,
prone team.
this one could end up like that, but hopefully not. But yeah, solid draft, guys. It was a quick draft. I think most of the managers here came prepared. I think it was a fast draft. I mean, it was a 1 minute time limit, but no one really maximized that 1 minute. I mean, there was the last week. I think we pretty much had what 1 hour 30 minutes for the whole episode. And now I think we just did 1 hour 15, something like that. Anyway, that's it for the draft today. I don't know when the next draft is. I think on Monday. I think there's a draft on Monday. But anyway, we'll do that. Oh yeah, on Monday, October 4 is the next one. I think October 4.
Yeah, that's my draft.
That's your
That's my
draft.
draft.
We
That's
have
that's the
guests there too.
that's the draft that I will be. That's the night that I don't know how I will finish because I have two drafts. Our draft with the podcast and a draft, the Roto draft with Max that they scheduled. Then I supposedly did not have a game, an actual basketball game then, but they released a new schedule that has an October 4 game. So I don't know what will happen that night,
Don't
but
worry.
I'll be there in the
You,
draft. Our draft is 9:30, right?
our draft is 9:30. Your game
Yeah.
is late, right?
My game is 8.
All right, so you'll finish by
Max
then.
draft is 8. So I think I'm gonna go to the game and then draft while I play.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. But how many minutes are you expecting to play?
2 minutes.
See, you
Two
probably have,
minutes.
you, you probably you can get
So
two
I'll, I'll
you get
I'll probably set up my whole laptop and everything on the bench and let them let,
yeah, let them
let them
play
let
and
them
then
play, and then let me draft, and then at
yeah,
least they won't say I didn't go to the game. And then
yeah. Just
if
for
the
moral
coach
support.
wants if the coach wants me in, tell him wait, wait for after I make my pick. Give me my 2 minutes, and I come back and make my pick again. It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I think I
Anyway,
told.
that's it. We'll see. We'll have guests on October 4. Um, we'll, we won't tell you now, but at least even if Commish wouldn't be able to join us there,
No, I
since
will
he
be.
has,
I will be there. I'll be there.
you'll be in the podcast.
October 4.
Yeah,
Maybe I may be late, but I'll go.
I'll join
I'll
in.
I'll
All
go
right.
in.
All right. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.